For the most part, we all just like try and just keep moving forward. And like to Marianne's point, if you just keep going, eventually it should turn around. Sometimes it doesn't, but that's the goal.
Yeah. Gotta go. Just gotta you gotta continue
like life, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you just gotta continue moving forward, you know, and not stop and not being stuck. But hopefully, you know, things will get better. You know, even though you gotta go through the moments in running or in life. Hello, family. Welcome to another episode of the Live Run Balance Show. I'm your host, Kenneth Pinkney. Today, I have the privilege once again to interview the ladies of Western State 100 2022. Last year, I got the opportunity to interview 3 of the ladies from Western State 100. It was really a treat. It was fun. And today, well, originally it started with 6 of the ladies, but now we're down to 3. Maybe a couple more we jump in. We see. 2 of the ladies are going to be not talking with is a return visit to Live Run Balance Show. We actually got a chance to know last year during this time. Also, they become really good friends and kind of stay connected and being a big supporter of Live Run Balance. I definitely appreciate that. So today, the ladies I have on here at current time on Live Run Balance Show is Marianne Hogan. I hope I said her name right. She is a Solomon runner and athlete from the great state of Canada. And returning, Ms. Emily Hawgood, Adidas Tourist athlete, home country, Zimbabwe. I got that right. And also returning, Katie Asmuth, Kona athlete, you know, and for the great state of, I forget where you're from, Katie. Help me
California.
out.
I'm from Asmuth.
Oh, California. Cool. Also, so hello, ladies. Welcome to the Live Run Balance Show. Good to have you. Good to have you back for a couple of 2, Katie, Emily. So how everyone feeling after Western State 100? And you could start with anybody could jump in.
Yeah, well, we're gonna ask Marianne first because it was her first 100.
First 100, okay, Marianne. How are you feeling? How was it?
I'm feeling all right. I'm actually feeling much better. The couple of days after, I was kind of like a hot mess. Almost passed out on the Iron Far interview where I
saw
passed
that.
out and Megan caught me. And then I was having a little bit of difficulty going up the stairs. I think similar to Katie, I just kept throwing up. Like I threw up a lot during the race and a lot after. And wow. I think like, I don't think I've ever in my life been so dehydrated. But I'm feeling much better. It took me like 2 or 3 days to kind of get my hydration back on track. And I feel like when I got that in order, I started feeling like myself again, and in a way better way. I was a way better functioning human. So yeah. So now I'm still a little tired, but actually not that bad. I'm just a little bit like Katie, like she said earlier. I started running again, just some short runs, and I'm feeling pretty good. So we'll see.
Oh, okay, all right, definitely. And well, what got you to want to do a 100 miler anyway? Since you were your first 100 miler, so you're like with the rookie of running 100 miles. Why you decided to do it?
I've been wanting to do one for a while. It's just I kept breaking my bones and couldn't get one done. So I was finally healthy for the last year or year and a half. So that was really good news. And I think I've just wanted to do one for so long. You know, the past 5 years I wanted to do 100 miles, and I guess I'm just lucky that my first 100 miles was at Western State. So it was a true honor. So
okay.
Yep.
So your first 100 miler, you finish in the top 10. Do you expect it to finish in the top 10 to finish, you know? What you did?
it's hard to expect anything when you're in the unknown. Like I wasn't really going for anything. I was just going to have a blast, and I think that I was able to do that even when I was throwing up. So it wasn't too bad. But I definitely was not expecting top 3, and I was kind of surprised when I when I passed Emily. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? So I definitely had no expectations, and I think that was also, for me at least, it was a positive.
Okay.
Sometimes better not to have any pressure,
Yeah, definitely. So Katie, Emily, everyone will go next, Yeah, I know y'all done it. Y'all second, both of y'all second time running the wrestling state.
Go ahead, Emily.
Yeah. Yep, the second time, the body feels pretty good. I just had my first run back yesterday. I was really excited with how everything's feeling, and I haven't really had any issues since the race. So that was good. My stomach turned too. So just like everyone, I didn't get to throw up, which I kept thinking if I threw up, I'd feel better. But I didn't get to throw up. So I just ran with the uncomfortableness, which is okay too. Just a different side of it. I was super proud of everyone out there, and seeing Marianne pass me with her pacer, that was really fun and exciting for her.
Was it fun for you, Emily?
She doesn't remember. She was giving her interview about like when she passed me, like how she was feeling or anything. But she definitely, her and her pacer both let out a whoop, and they were super excited. And it was so great to see her just crush her first 100. And earlier on in the day, I told Katie I didn't want to see her in the medical tent. So I was very excited when she got to finish. And as much as she said she had a hard time, she looked after herself well enough to not need the medical tent.
I had to slow down. But yeah. So Emily got 5th. So that's really exciting. And she was 7th last year, right?
Yeah.
7th? Yeah. And then 5th this year. And then Marianne, it was her first 100, and she freaking crushed it with the podium. For me, I went the wrong direction in my order of, so last year I was 5th, and this year I got 9th, and like barely got 9th. And I went in with really high hopes, and Marianne was talking about not having expectations for yourself, and wasn't really expectations in like a pressure way, or the other people or sponsors were putting it on me. I just felt like I could run that course well. And so I was like ready and rearing to go. And I took too much salts. I mean, I know that's what happened. I've never had any sort of GI upset before, and it just was explosive from all ends. All parts of me was like not able to keep barely tiny sips of water. Was okay for about 7 hours, more probably closer to 8. So I was really bad out there, but the first 50 or first like 45 miles were epic. Were awesome, super fun. It's just the back half, and so I was unfortunate, but to be completely honest, I'm actually much more proud of my performance this race than my previous performance, just in the sense that I graded something out that I didn't think would be possible on paper, and was able to still get in top 10, and like absolutely destroyed myself to get there, and was really proud of my effort and my crew. And so, I think each of us have our own stories and how we took to the day and what happened with the day. And it's pretty cool that each of us, and every runner at this race, it's like you come out of it feeling like you're a different person on the other side. And we've all gone through went through crazy highs and then crazy lows, and each of us, and somehow we were still able to pull off top 10, which is pretty exciting, no matter how you did it. So that was my story, and it wasn't the most glamorous, but it happened. So
you get it now?
I'm okay. It took a long time. I remember Wednesday night, I was still up, tossing and turning, holding my stomach, just in, twisted gut. My intestines were just shot, and my stomach. I just had no appetite. And then starting Thursday, I was like, oh, that bagel actually looks delicious. Like it took a very long time for my like appetite to come and my stomach to come back. But now I'm totally fine. But yeah, it sucked. So that's okay. That's part of life, part of hundreds.
Part of hundreds, yeah. The ultra trail running life, you know. You know, sometimes we got to ask ourselves why we put ourselves through the misery of doing what we do. And so that's a question I didn't have written down, type up. But why put ourselves through the misery and keep, you know, why put yourself through this, you know, over and over again? Why? Yeah, Reggie said that.
Wait, what'd you say, Emily?
We don't think it's misery. That's
yeah.
Love it.
It's like a part of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. That's true.
Well, I think to Emily's point, like we don't, all of us out there as ultra runners, you don't think like this is like, you just reframe it. It doesn't become this like, you know, like I'm weak, I don't have any energy, I can't do this. It's like, okay, like this is the problem that's happening, and how am I gonna just address it and keep moving forward? And it's just like, it doesn't click in your brain that it's something that's gonna derail you. It's just, you use that information and just keep moving forward as best you can. And I think that's what makes ultra runners a special breed in that way. You know, it's like, well, yeah, it wasn't necessarily fun looking back, but like in the moment, it was just this like primal survival thing of just like getting to the end, and that there's not an option of stopping, you know?
Definitely. Okay, I feel that, you know. Yeah, I mean, the most mileage I attempted to complete so far, like 30 some miles, you know. And I know I missed, but that could be at some point, you know. But just how I wanted to go back again, you know, and do that over again, you know. So yeah, and I hope you do more. Yeah. So yeah. Well, now y'all level yet. maybe one day. But so during the race for each of you all, do you have like dark moments y'all go to? I hear people talk about like to go to dark moments during a race, felt like 100 milers. Do you have dark moments you have to go to and push you like mentally and even physically? So Marianne, anyway, so tell me about it. You have any dark moments in your first 100 milers?
I don't say that I wouldn't say that I had a dark moment. The thing for me is just I felt really sick from like Robinson Flat all the way to Last Chance.
Okay.
I just felt like so sick. Like I was just like, this has never happened to me before. I don't know what's going on. Yeah. And it's pretty early on in the race, so I think like it's really easy to go like in a downward spiral.
Yeah.
But I just kept moving as best as I could in that exact moment, and I think that that's what got me like to keep. I guess that's what got me to the finish line eventually. But then when I threw up, like for me, it was such a relief. Like, I don't know what was going on in my stomach, but whatever needed to come out came out. And then it was just kind of surviving the 2 canyons. Because I threw up like right before going in. So like making it out of the first canyon with barely nothing to drink and eat was a challenge. So I guess I was just like, I just hope that I'm really not gonna get super dehydrated, because you lose perspective on how much liquid you have if you threw up all of it, and and I didn't have much either. So I wouldn't say that it was a dark time, but it was more of like an overwhelmingly like I guess stressful, in the sense of like I didn't know what I would need to get out of there, and if I would be okay to get out of there with nothing. But I just took a chance and did it, and then I made it out on the other side, and then that's when I started feeling better. I was able to eat again, drink again, and then I started running again, and then I started feeling better.
Okay, awesome, cool. Yeah. How about you, Katie? Emily, you had like any in the moments like like, man, okay, in like dark moments, or I mean, I know Katie. I mean, you kind of mentioned it about it already, you know. How you get through it, you know. Yeah, so
do you want to say, Emily?
I mean, I think we're all kind of highlighting that right now.
Yeah.
this is what makes us ultra runners.
Yeah.
To go into like the dark moments or the high moments and understand there's a balance, understand that there's, we've been through things like this before, training. We know what to do. We know that there are limits. So like if Marianne couldn't get out of the canyon, feeling okay, she kind of knew that maybe she'd have to take an extra time at the aid station and like force calories in, force water in, that sort of stuff. Katie throwing up, me not feeling good either. Those like bring moments of maybe disappointment, just that we can't push as hard as we want to, or that we feel like we're slipping back in the competitive place we want to be at.
Yes.
But I think we just make our worlds a little smaller and focus on the issue, get through that, and then see how we can like bounce back or push through to get to the end. Like mine and Katie's were further on, so Marianne, it's kind of nice that it happened early, because then you had the bounce back, which is so cool, whereas maybe Katie and I had to use it at the end and just fight through it to get to the finish line. But it's so cool to hear that, and I think learn from each other that those things happen and that we can still keep going, and just being smart. If we do need to take extra time, or, in so many cases, like people do need to stop if something crazy happens, like Keely rolling her ankle, like that was just super unfortunate. And that's what happens in our world. But it's nice to kind of stand as a girl gang out there and know that we have the guts to keep going and just see where we can go, not only in a race, but from this race moving forward. So the dark moments come for sure, but they're not dark moments that tell us we can't do this. It's just dark moments that make us take a moment and take it all in, I think.
Yeah, on that point, I was going to say Lucy and Keely both had an injury in the beginning of the race. Lucy's was like really early, and they were like catastrophic, like they couldn't continue. They were really injured and they didn't want a DNF, but they had to for their own like body and their safety. But I just feel like I'm trying to think of any other women that I know that DNF'd without like just that really pushed on, like they finished still, I mean, sure, there's a lot of women that didn't, but I'm just trying to think of the women that were in the top, trying to go for like a top placement, and just people really pushed on, and no matter how dark it got. And I just think it's really special, and it shows that it's a special race and it's a really competitive race, and that people want to finish no matter what, and no matter how dark it gets. So I think for me, there was a moment I kept telling myself it's going to turn around. Like that's another like theme in ultra running. It's like, just give yourself another chance. This is a lull. It's going to be high again. And you just know that, and you just keep believing it's going to get better. And for me, I was just like puke and rally, and really it was like puke and poo and rally, like keep doing it, just go again, like come on, and just like kept doing it. And I got to Green Gate, and I was like, okay, I had like 5 miles where I hadn't pooped or puked, and I was like, I think I'm on the rally, and I was like feeling good. And then Leah, who was supposed to be on this call, but she couldn't make it, she ran past me, and I was like, I'm coming to get you, because I was stopping at my aid station. And she's like, I'm like, I'm coming to get you. She's like, see you soon. And she turned the corner, and then I just turn and just like start puking again. And I was like, oh, like that was my moment. That was definitely my dark moment of like, I kept waiting to come back, and then it never really happened. And I was like, darn it, like, come on. So that was hard, because I told my crew, like, how am I going to do this without calories? Another 20 miles, like I'm barely surviving. And they're like, well, just try. Keep going. And I think that's another thing that all of us do, is you just keep moving forward. And to Emily's point, sometimes you need to stop at aid stations a little bit longer to take care of yourself. But for the most part, we all just like try and just keep moving forward. And like to Marianne's point, if you just keep going, eventually it should turn around. Sometimes it doesn't, but that's the goal.
Gotta go. Just gotta you gotta
kind
continue
like life,
Absolutely. You just gotta continue moving forward, and not stop and not being stuck. But hopefully, things will get better. Even though you gotta go through the moments in running or in life, you still gotta continue to keep going. Yeah.
A lot of overlap.
Oh yes.
Like
Yeah.
life.
So
And
good.
Yeah.
it's kind of nice too, because like in our race, like we all had moments where we were all feeling stronger. Like we switched back and forth like a couple times, all three of us, at different moments. And I think that shows like ultras, like you have highs, you have lows, and
Yeah.
you just got to ride those waves, you know, because you never know when your next like high current is coming in and you're
Yeah.
gonna keep going. So it makes it interesting for everyone and kind of fun too, you know.
Yeah.
It's a good point, because you never know when the fuel is going to hit. Like there'll be time when like somebody passes you and then you kind of get down on yourself. You're like, no, their fuel is just hitting them, you know? And then like you pass them 2 miles later because you're like, now my fuel's hitting me, you know? And I think that's just generally for life. Like people go in their own, there's never one straight direction, and people go at their own pace through this life in their own ways, you know?
Yeah. That's cool. I like that. Yeah. That one thing I'm gonna talk about, you know, ultra trail running and life, you know, the similarity between the two, you know, or maybe how ultra trail running has helped you in life, you know, and get into life, you know, in a particular way, you know.
Yeah, I found, I mean, mostly probably this year is just the balance of like life stresses is very key. And that is something huge I take into my training. Yeah. Probably because I've had to balance life stresses with training stresses and adjust training as needed, and just like giving myself the grace to live through those life stresses, take the time I need, or, you know, do things a little lighter or switch up workouts, that sort of thing. And that is huge in life too, like taking an extra hour to sleep, or taking an extra hour of time, or, you know, going somewhere, visiting your family when you have other things on the schedule, or, you know, certain things that just come up, just kind of understanding more and more that balance and what's needed. That's really helped me life-wise, and then also training-wise, and just understanding that you have to give yourself that grace. Okay. And I think that helps us to like empathize more with the people around us too. And so being on the trails with these ladies was super special, just knowing like we all didn't have a smooth path to any start line. If at the start of any ultra they said like, hey, who's had the perfect 6 months? No one on the start line would say, yeah, me. Like no one. And that has given me like a brand new set of eyes at how I look at everyone around me too, is just knowing that we all have these unique and special journeys that get us to the start line. And then we get to share this one day we were running the same trail, and that's the only thing that is similar.
Okay. That's awesome. Love it.
It's funny, Emily said that. I had a friend who didn't finish the race who I was texting with, and she's like, I was like, how are you feeling? And, you know, and she said, it's just one day. Like I moved on really quickly. And I was thinking to myself, like, it was so much more than one day to me. You know, I didn't say that to her, but I was thinking about it because I'm like, it's such a big buildup. I mean, it is all of our A races. Like we're planning for this. I mean, like a year in advance, in the sense that you're like planning for it, probably more than that, in the sense that you have a base for a long time to be able to get to this distance. I guess Marianne started for sure in January, but the point is like we all worked really hard to get to that one day, and so it feels so much more important and substantial and like meaningful than just like this one 24-hour day or less, you know. And it's really special in that way, and almost sacred. It's like we hold it really to a high esteem because we know the stories and the struggles and the sacrifice it took to get there, and we all respect that in each other. And it's so much more than one day. I didn't tell her that though. I was like, okay, yeah, one day.
It's only one day.
So Marianne, how had ultra trail running, or whatever, help you in life, you know?
I think that's a really good question. I think for me, it's really interesting because, like I said, I've got injured really a lot. I've broken a lot of bones, and whenever I start running again, it always surprises me how bad of a runner I am. Like I start running and I'm like, man, this is so hard. Like going out for a 5K run is really, really hard.
Yeah.
And like building back up really shows me that like, yeah, there's talent, but there's also, and I don't want to say that I'm talented, but I mean, there is like talent in everyone, but there is also hard work and dedication and passion. It really shows me every day that like if you set your heart or your goals to something, like there is a way for you to get closer to achieving those goals, at least even if you don't achieve like your ultimate goal. And I think that would be true for a lot of things in life. Like I think there are a lot of things that even if you're not perfect at it, or if you're not that talented at it, you can just work, and eventually you're gonna get closer to it. And I do believe that ultra running taught me that, but also that I like to use for other things. You know, I like to think that if eventually I'm going to move on to another passion, then maybe I can just put in as much heart and passion and work into it, and maybe something will come out on the other end. And I think that's what I like to say to people who say like, oh, I can't run that much. And I'm like, well, I can't run that much either when I start running, you know, like it's like it takes me a long time to get back into like ultra running shape, and I just keep pushing it until it happens. So for me, that's the biggest takeaway.
Okay then. So some of you have like full-time jobs or whatever, you know. So how do you manage like to carve out, you know? I know Emily kind of explained like having a balance, or I kind of have a balance, but just know okay to give yourself grace, whatever. You know, but when you're working, you know, full time, got a full time job, Kate. I know you work full time. You a nurse? What, Kate? You a nurse,
I'm
Katie?
a nurse practitioner.
Yeah, nurse practitioner, and that's a lot. That's a lot on your plate. And be able to train 2 years in a row, train for Western states. You know, how do you able to take on all of that responsibility? That's support.
He's a mom too, full-time mom.
And a full-time
I feel like the mom is even more than everything. I think well, it's priorities, right? And it's all kind of complements each other, to be honest. I think like to our point that ultra running has taught me a lot about life and how to manage problems and priorities. And I think that's how I manage my whole life. It all kind of complements each other. Like I'm a better mom because I run, I'm a better nurse practitioner because I'm a parent, it all kind of works together in that way for me. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of just logistically, it's a lot of bliss and communication with my partner. And we're very like diligent about making sure that our dreams are met. And so, yeah, when we definitely feel like, when I have a dream, it's like also his dream. And so we make sure it happens or go for it together. And so I feel like that I think is critical to have a team or like a village around you that is able to support you in doing all of this. But I mean, being a professional runner is really a lot like of time and commitment. And like really, I mean, all three of us really take this really like, not seriously, but like in a very like committed way because we love it so much. And I feel like it would be a little bit easier, but not that much easier if you were just doing it for fun, because you still need to get the miles in and you still have to like put in the time. So it's hard no matter which way you look at it, but it's also like so rewarding. And that's why we do it, because we want to do it.
Yes, absolutely. Totally agree.
And just seeing like the passion that Katie's kids have when they get to come out and watch her race. I think that's a huge thing. Maybe I know it is for her, but for even like the onlookers, you know, like you see people's communities, and I think this is another like crossover with life is just how excited your communities get with your running. It's just like
meeting your mom, Emily.
Yeah,
I was like, I almost started crying when I met your mom. I was like, oh my gosh. It was really exciting because you're like, you know that she's been such a big part of your story. And that's really, you know, knowing each other's community and your village is really, I don't know, it's really special. It's more than just us doing this for sure.
Exactly. And that's why when you see like everyone say like, you know, their big thank yous and stuff like that, you know that everyone's trying to like thank everyone. And there's no way because
It's
your community
impossible.
support yeah, exactly. It's just so big. Like your community from just your coaching, corner, or your real close friends, or your sponsors. And then it's just like the extended and everyone who stepped up on the day. And it's just like the ultra trail running is so different to a lot of other sports. Like I was in the triathlon world for a long time, and I walked away from every finish line my friends and my community knew who I was, but not really anyone else. Like, and whereas the ultra running world, like you step on a start line and there's a whole group of people in the world that are just supporting you. Like, even if you're back of the pack or anything, like your stories are amazing. Like at Western States, there were so many cool stories, like people who'd beaten cancer and they're out there. I can't, like, they're just so many people who've waited for 10 years to get into it, people who've, got golden tickets, people who are just friends of the trail, have got sponsored spots, and every single person has a story. And that whole thing of just like seeing everyone put aside the time to just make it happen, but then finding the joy in the time too that they put aside. It's not stealing from anything. And so it doesn't feel like an extra, like seeing Katie go out and be with her kids and train is super cool. You got to be on the mountains and you got to take them along.
Definitely.
And I want to hope that my kids feel it too, hopefully they get a lot out of it, like I get a lot of it. I mean, we think that it's not just about the runners, it's about the support, like the enjoyment of the support also, hopefully. Also how happy they were taking care of me out there, but they pretended they were.
That's awesome.
And I didn't get to meet Marianne until right before the race, but like I kind of hope that she got to explore new trails and see new places. And I'm excited to like keep following her journey and know her now, because then I get to know more of her community too. It's so fun.
It's interesting when you say like you want to thank everyone. Like one thing it's really easy for us to thank everyone that like helped us directly, but I think there's also like a lot of thanks that we want to give to people like during the race. Like it means a lot that we should, like, there's like a bond between us three and all the other women who raced and all the other men who raced as well, that we were all in the same, like on the same day, leaving the same experiences, like all having our same. So it's kind of interesting that like we all were in that together, kind of helping each other out, but also like there's obviously like we're all racing, but there's just a lot of people to thank, and the people in the race I think are just as important as the people outside of the race in that regard. And I think we really feel it is, I don't know, it's very particular to ultra running for sure.
Oh yeah. I know I haven't done a whole lot of ultra running, but the past few months, because of my injury, I able like dealing with some volunteer, at some ultra running race. Recently I volunteered at San Diego 100. Which is pretty nice. My first time being out there at San Diego 100. I know friends that ran the race, have run the race. And to be out there, to be first that Friday, be at the aid station, see people come in and giving the support, and just like, and then that Saturday be at the finish line. It was a beautiful thing to see the family there waiting for the loved ones to come into the finish line, see the hugs, the tears, and see the community. So I'm grateful to be part of this.
It's better than airport arrivals, I'll tell you. Better hugs for sure.
That's saying something, because those are pretty powerful.
Those are pretty powerful too.
No, just seeing the tears, the family, everybody just having a great time. It was great just to be at that finish line, San Diego 100. So shout out to San Diego 100, all that, and shout out to Ms. Regina Peterson, who was my co-host. But she's been at volunteer at like the Western State a few times throughout the years, that she put in a golden ticket, but she never got picking yet. She never got the ticket out. How to choose the people, the ticket. You get a ticket.
Oh, the lottery.
The lottery. Yeah, but you put her name on her.
Like, she got a golden ticket? Wait, I don't know her name.
but she never got. If I saying that right,
cool.
You got it. Yeah, Coco, you got me. Thank you. God messed everything up. But Regina Peterson, she's great. Wish she could have been here today. But shout out to Regina. Yeah. So yeah, but she's been volunteer at the rate plenty of times over the years. Yeah. Yeah. But hopefully one day, maybe she will be out there racing. I'll be out there crewing. Yeah. So, but yes, um, the woman in ultra trail running. A quick thoughts. Women. The closeness that y'all able to the bond. I mean, the closeness y'all develop for females in ultra trail running world. You can tell me a little bit about that. Anybody? The camaraderie between the females, whoever.
I can say that I have special bonds with both Marianne and Emily, both that have beaten me hard both times. Well, I had an experience with Marianne where she, last September, we ran a race together, and then I've raced Emily, well, now 3 times. But like, it's fun to race each other and like kind of get to know each other's strengths and weaknesses and styles and like how we race also. And that's special, but that's really because it's only us, like only we can understand that about each other. But I would say the other, like after, like hanging out after the race too is really fun. Like I got to spend a lot of time with Marianne at Western States training camp, and that was really great because we spent a lot of miles just chatting, and that's really special. And being able to just hang out with Emily just outside of racing is really special because there's that deeper respect. So I feel like we kind of run in the same circles, literally, in the sense that ultra running is a very niche sport. And so we all want to race the biggest races and be a part of like a bigger, broader community globally also. And so I'm not going to be surprised when I sign up for a race and I see one of their names, and it's like across the world and they're running it with me. And like, for instance, Marianne and Emily are both running UTMB still, right? Maybe. Yep. They're racing together. Marianne's second 100 in just a couple of weeks, which is crazy. And they're racing again, each other and, from Chamonix in France. And so that's exciting because we share this, like this, not only this sport, but it's kind of like this lifestyle where we see a lot of each other in that way, which is really special, so.
Cool. I love it.
A lot of respect for sure.
Yeah.
And I think so. A little bit like Emily, like I'm coming from the triathlon world, and it's like I did track and field in college. And I think the main thing in ultra running, the reason why like we can compete against each other and with each other, and we're such good, like, I guess, friends, or we're very friendly with one another, is because like on an ultra on any given day, like it's anybody's race, there's no like a triathlon or a track, like you kind of know like who's the best or like who has the best time or anything. But like on Western States, like there's just so many variables, so many different things. You show up on the start line, there's like 20-30 girls that could like really crush this race. And I think that's what makes it so interesting, and why we all root for one another, because we know that like maybe today's my day, maybe tomorrow's your day, maybe like next year is going to be your year. And I think that's what makes it so special, and the reason why we're all like in this together and trying to make it so that we're all delivering our best performance on the day, and whatever happens, and I think that's what the main difference for me that I see.
Okay, good, cool. Thank you. Yes. So next year, Western Day 100, 50 years, if I'm not mistaken. Who's going back? Also, who's in it to win it?
All of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All of us, for sure.
Okay.
Fair.
We're going to learn from each other's mistakes, and we're all just going to cross the line, like 20 of us together, all holding hands. And they're going to have a big logistical problem because they're going to have to come up with 20 cougars,
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Okay, I love it. Yeah, hopefully, I watch it, I live stream like I watch in basketball, football, I watch the Super Bowl or the NBA championship. And man, I don't really watch the NBA that much like I need to. And I can't believe that I'm watching a race live stream, that much. I love the sport, and hopefully next year I'll be out there, and doing this interview, live, however, in person, But yeah, so, and seeing everybody else in person also. Yeah, so hopefully so next year. Western State, 50 years.
We'll take that opportunity to thank like Billy Yang and Debo and Corinne. They've all just done such an amazing job to be able to let us share that with our communities, like for you to be able to see it, Kenneth. Like that's the next best thing to being there live, is having them out there putting the show together, and like they go above and beyond. There's cameramen everywhere and updates, and like Corinne and Debo and Billy, like they sit there and comment all day, all night. We think hard. I know those 2.5 minute bathroom breaks are precious.
yeah, definitely do good. I know it takes a lot of work putting that together, making it live and make us to what.
Well, and it's only the second year. I mean, that's what to me is crazy, because this is my second year running it. So I'm like, this is just how it's always been, right? Like it's so fresh and new, and it's only going to get better and better. And they've put so much into it, and just a couple of years, what they've been able to make happen. And it reached a huge audience this year. Like hundreds of thousands of people tuned in. It's just wild. I mean, ultra running's going live stream, and it's
definitely, you know. So it's great to be part of, and I'm grateful to be part of this community, you know, and we're just supporting, volunteering, sharing with other people, and just really just like take it to a whole nother level, you know. So definitely really grateful. We're getting there. No, got stuff to do, you know. So your favorite meal you look forward to after the race? Where you go to meal? Favorite meal, like.
Katie's gonna answer it. She had to wait 5 days for it.
I couldn't even eat a bagel. Like this was bad. This is an exception. It will hopefully never happen again.
No, never. Come on.
Usually I have an iron gut. Like, I don't know. Anyways. This year.
So I mean, what you been looking forward to? What you been looking usually after a race? What kind of meal you look forward to? Like a sloppy chili cheeseburger, like fried chicken, collard greens, or what, you know?
I usually crave like a salad or something, because you've been stuffing your mouth with like sugary stuff, and I'm sugar overload, and I just want fresh carrots and a fresh salad and sparkling water. I don't know. I need to clean out my stomach, you know.
Y'all do eat good at the age stage. I gotta admit that. The ultra trail race, you invest a lot of money to make sure I'm eating good at the races now. So hey, I got
Yeah, I'm a smoothie fan.
Okay.
Fresh fruit and veg.
That's actually probably a good idea after an ultra. I've never had that, but that's smart.
Okay. But that's cool. Yeah, I got done. No, the one in an interview with like Sally, last interview I had with Sally. She mentioned at the race, she liked to just gourd for a couple of weeks, you know, on different like junk food and stuff like that. Not mistaken, you know. So I guess for everybody it's kind of different. Yes. That was awesome. Thank you. You know, but before I lead for the final questions, you know, I know Katie, Emily, you're kind of familiar with. Anything else you want to say, you know, to the world, you know, about just like running, but just what your next race or whatever, you know, what we are planning for right now, aiming for goals.
I mean, I think the one thing I want to say is just like thank you for this opportunity that we all get to get together, see each other's faces, support each other, tell each other like how badass each of us is. Like it's so cool to like, we think that and we know that our community is awesome, but these opportunities really like give us the time to like share with each other. And it's, I mean, we just see each other at races or, you know, little times here and there, but I think everyone kind of needs to know that their communities are important and that, you know, each of us here make up our communities too. And so hopefully Marianne and Katie can just know like, you know, how amazing they did do and any worries or fears or letdowns or they had from the race, like that's not the moment that defines you. just keep going. Like, you guys are amazing. You had incredible days.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, I think for me, just on that note, Emily, like the gratitude of just being here in this Zoom call, like being able to be with these like three other rock stars, but just being able to have that life experience, and I feel like this sport, you really live the true full human experience in a chosen way, and it's really a privilege. And I'm definitely full. I'm saying it. I want to like feel it. I think the more we like talk about it and manifest it is the better, to say how much respect we have for each other and how I feel like it makes our community even tighter and more meaningful. And I feel like that is, for me, makes it, just more special. And I also know that, this isn't going to be my forever in my life, right? Like, I mean, I don't want to say I'm in my prime. I think I have another maybe 10 years in me after like what women over 40 threw down this couple of weeks ago, last week. But I'm just saying that I feel like this is a special time in life, and I'm aware of that, and I don't take it for granted. And I feel like we need to like live it as best we can and really embrace the relationships that we can create and connect with others, because, not saying that hopefully I'm in the ultra community forever, but just like racing, in top 10 Western states probably won't be forever. So I'm just really full of gratitude in that way, and just kind of really wanted to, like, every race could be your last, and just to really like really live it fully. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I guess obviously I share the sentiments of these two incredible women, but I also add that, like, for me, just showing up to the start line, like, it was a big deal for me. And like, I think that's something that we should never take for granted, like, just in terms of your health, but also just everything that you've done to make it to the start line. And whatever happens on race day, to me, is just bonus. And so I think whenever you do have a bad day, or if it's not as good of a day as you would hope for, you always know that there's always a next start line that you can make it to, and whatever will happen to the next one is just as important to this one that just happened. Like, life is a continuum, and if you're disappointed one day, you can be ecstatic the next. And just like as much as we ride the highs and lows like in a single race, but we're gonna ride the highs and lows like in our lifespan, and that's important. And just be grateful for whenever you do show up on the start line, and pat yourself on the back for that. Like, it took a while for some of us to get there, and it was a big deal, and it was a good moment. I would say that, like, that was almost my favorite moment, like just standing there, like looking around, like, hey guys, like, we're going to do we're running Western States. Like, that was almost my favorite moment of the day. So that's what I'd like to say to everyone.
Cool. And so, Marianne, you live in Montreal, Canada, so no trails.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, there are trails. There are a little bit. There's trails, definitely. Like, there's a mountain in the middle of a city, and then in Quebec, there's very technical trails. And Katie and Emily can talk to those, can talk about those trails as well. There's definitely trails out here. Yeah. Okay,
that was did you trail running at and preparing for the Western State out there?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was lucky to be in California for a month before.
Oh, California. Okay, yeah, because you had to take the camp. Okay, then. Yeah, I just had to ask it because it was in my mind, so I want to make sure.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for your question.
Yeah, so thank you, ladies. And the final question, you haven't answered already. Maybe I did. I don't know. But your boundless motivation and thoughts. Yeah, trying to think about it.
The sport sets my heart on fire, just in all the things we've talked about, and pushing myself, seeing what limits I can reach, and learn more about myself, and learn more about other people, share the trails, and just get to be outside exploring more of the world. Like Marianne said, me and Katie have been lucky enough to go up to Canada to her trail there. And I mean, that makes us the people we are today, is just taking all those experiences in. So no bounds.
No bounds. Awesome. Cool.
I think for me too, it's this sounds kind of cliche and it's really for my kids, but it's like inspiring the next generation, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we're really living on, and our sport is on the backs of pioneers, you
Yeah.
know, and we wouldn't have the sport without them. And I feel like there's a lot to give back in that way, like for the next generation coming, and seeing, I had a lot of people reach out to me and say how special it was for them to see their kids seeing all these like dynamic, like badass women just crushing at Western States and seeing it on the live stream, and just being able to be like women are crushing, and it feels like we are able to, you know, kind of ignite that same passion and love of like that grit and drive and like determination, but also like this openness and lightheartedness and like love of nature, like all of it combined in one, for like to the next generation. And I feel like I think about that a lot, probably because I have my kids, and so I think about how I'm impacting them in their life, and so I feel like that's a way to live Boundless, right?
Okay, yes.
It's not just about you, it's about, you know, the next generation too.
Yeah. So what is your age, your kids anyway? What's your age?
I have a 5 and 7 year olds.
Okay, that's cool. And so did they enjoy what you do? Did they enjoy love what you do? They have fun? Seeing you out there racing?
Oh yeah, they love it.
Okay.
They don't understand short races. We just did the 4th of July Freedom Mile, and they were like, "That's it, Mom!" Like they ran it was like 1 mile, right? And
that's funny.
It was so cute. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that's awesome. That's great.
They're really into it.
All righty, Marianne.
Yeah, I think obviously similar answers, but I'd like to add that, like, I don't know, the running ultras, it really makes me feel alive. Like even when I feel like I'm dead at the bottom of the canyon, like that's when I feel the most alive. Like this is it, you know, I'm pushing the boundaries. But I also do what I appreciate the most about running is like you get to meet so many different kind of people, like people that you never meet, like people of all different kinds of jobs, like all different kinds of backgrounds, ethnicities, countries, and it like your age or your gender or your you know, your sexuality, nothing matters. Like you're just if you're running with someone, like you're running with someone, and like nothing else matters. And I think like the simplicity of that really calls to me. Like I could run with anyone, any pace, anytime. Like I don't really care. Like that's all I want to do. So I think that ultra running really gives me that, and it brings a lot of, you know, kind of perspective, and it opens up your horizons to a lot of different things. And I feel like if everyone just came back to like the basicness of running, like there would be so much simplicity in the world that we could all associate to. So that's kind of what draws me to it, and that I love the most about it.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Thank you for great answers. Wow, love them all. So thank you, Emily, Katie, Marianne, for joining me. I also want to say a shout out to Taylor, Leah, I was saying her name right, and Alyssa, who wasn't going to join, but due to other obligation, had trouble, technical issue, was able to join. But hopefully I get them on another interview, hopefully, you know, we will see, you know. But I appreciate them want to take part in this anyway. So it's all good. So thank you everyone for joining me in the Live Around Balance Family today. And everybody, if people want to get in contact you or follow you, they probably know how, but in case you don't, how to get in contact with each of you.
I'm on Facebook and Instagram, not Strava, but
I'm on Instagram. Katie_.
Okay.
Yeah, same here. But my name on Instagram is Marianne in Bedford, because that's where I'm from. Bedford, Quebec, you know.
Awesome. Gotta represent where you're from. Definitely. Cool. So thank you, lady, once again. Thank you, Live Around Balance family, for joining me. Y'all know you know how to end it. Anybody want to end it for me? Oh, yeah, I don't know how the ending goes. Okay, no mind.
Yeah,
okay.
You got it, Kenneth.
Okay. Thank you, Live Around Balance family, for joining me for another episode of the Live Around Balance show. Live a life beyond the boundary that you set on yourself. And man, they done it again, you know. Wherever issue they went through during the race, and they found a way to overcome it, get through it, cross that finish line. They keep doing it again and again and again. Now with family, with a lot of stuff going on around them, they're able to keep the focus, keep moving how the words, they keep moving forward and not getting stuck. And that's, yeah, and that living beyond the boundary that you set yourself. And with that said, until next time, family,